Good morning, good morning. Actually, it's could be a better morning. I really don't feel all that well today. I was actually on the fence of whether or not I should even start streaming today. I have a feeling I'm going to have a fairly short stream. I had 2 kids home sick today, or not today, this week. And I think they finally started to give me whatever they got. So I feel like crap. I woke up with a nasty sore throat, couldn't sleep, so I got up a little early this morning. I've had 3 good trades so far, so that is positive. I'm currently in this little bit of a delta squeeze looking setup right here. So I'm currently in a short. Almost to my 80 tick to take profit here. Good morning, JWaz. Good morning, ML. This last one, I wasn't able to snag the end of that wick to the tick right on that 8 SMA. We're down to the session VWAP right now. We're heading towards, there we go, there's 2 contracts off. All right. Now we're shooting for 125. Just sitting on top of VWAP here. If we open at VWAP, it might get kind of nasty. Typically when we open at VWAP, it's sideways chop. So my exit here for the last 2 contracts is going to be a tick up from that power zone. Unless it wants to come down and hit my 125 TP quick. ML, are you up $321 or $642 based on the P&L? Here, let me show you a large view of that. So 321 total points. If I scroll down, there's the dollar value on I'm trading micros. I'm not trading minis, but if I was trading minis, that would be the value on minis. Here's the fees, and there's the total P&L. I know and when I put that together, I knew that would be a little confusing, but I'm trying to do an experiment. I'm trying to track every individual contract. And I didn't really know of a better way to do that. So I realize that can be a little confusing, but I thought that is probably the least confusing way to do it. That's why I wrote assuming one contract on there. So I'm trading 4 contracts per trade, but when you all boil it down, it's 321 points total, assuming that you were trading one contract all throughout, if that makes sense. Still in this here. We still never ticked up from that lower power zone. Hitmaker, are you flat? What do you mean by that? Do you mean flat on the day? I'm up on the day. Oh, no, I have 2 contracts in still. So if we hit this 125, I'll be taking another contract off, 125 ticks. But if we tick up from that lower power zone, I'm just going to flatten it. That's typically what I've been doing with this little experiment that I've been doing. So if we tick up from a power zone, I just pull the whole thing, flatten the whole thing. But I've been taking 80 or 2 contracts off at 80, one off at 125. There's another one right there. So now my 2 see right here, which is one off at 125 ticks. So that moves to 3 now. And so now I just have 1 runner left, which I use for a cumulative delta exit in case it really wants to run. And so far that's been working out pretty good, except for, you know, the market really needs to move in order for it to work. Like yesterday, the market just was not moving, so I had a hard time with that. So when you're sideways, flat and choppy, that's where you got to watch out when it's sideways. You can see it in the delta usually when it's going sideways, but I need to do a better job walking away earlier when it starts doing that. But hey, as long as the price is moving, the strategy works great. So like that's really the thing I have the biggest issue with right now, is just learning when to walk away sooner. This broadening formation right here, I marked this out as soon as on that news this morning when we wicked down and took out that low. That's when I marked this out, and sure enough, it keeps playing out here. Those broadening formations, I feel like people don't really give those as much value and respect as you probably should. They play out over and over every single day. Some people call it, what's the other name for it? Bugle horn or something like that. I forgot what people call it. Megaphone. There you go. ML, curious to see how your theory about the power zone at open plays out. If we open down here, do we go higher first? We will see. So if I wanted like the most conservative exit here, this would be it. It's taking out that low right there. Just because we're in a broadening formation. As soon as you take out the low, it kind of resets. And your second target would be the yellow line. But it's possible we could just fall short right here. We are starting to get a tick up from the bottom. But see how the signal line just flattens out down there? If it's flat on the bottom, you might as well stay in the trade. The way that this delta is aggressively coming down here kind of makes me want to just stay in until we have a delta cross. And that's typically what I do. Like I'll exit on the power zone tick up usually, but depending on what delta is doing, I might change my exit strategy. If this was really thick, then I would definitely stay in until we had a delta cross. But it's not very thick. It's coming down aggressively, but it's not very thick. And we're right before the open here, so I would not be surprised if we take out this low and then shoot back up. Well, looks like I would have been better off probably just... See, even though it's just a little smidgen of a tick up down there in that lower power zone, like a lot of times you see it nails it. I probably should have just pulled it right there, but we were so close to taking that low out. All right. Yeah, I think I'm just going to end up pulling this on the close of this candle. Do not go up there and hit my break even. All right. I'm out. So that one... looks like I got 1850 on that one. So then I come down here. I have a little calculator. Here, let me scroll all the way down. See, I got a little calculator down here, so I could just say, okay, this was one contract. I made 18.5 points. So I changed this to 18.5. And then it calculates my new points. So that's 117. So I come up here and then I change this to, that was one additional contract. So that makes that 5. And then this becomes 117. So I got formulas in there. So I'm trying to, reduce any amount of human error as possible. I mean, obviously I could type in a contract number wrong or whatever, but I would say that's pretty good for just before the open today. Not too bad. Sucks we didn't take out that swing low right there, though. Maybe we'll do it here at the open. Looks like we're open in about 10 seconds. See how that delta just abruptly changed course? It just had to do that. So see, this little smidgen of a tick up, I should have just stuck to my plan and exit right there at 826. Anyway. K. John, good morning. now that we got the open here, we are opening pretty much at VWAP. So I would expect it to be kind of choppy. So that's probably a decent time to just go over the trades I took so far. This one is fairly easy for you guys to recognize. This is the delta squeeze. We have a positive slope on the delta, tick up above a rising delta, near the power zone. It's got to be near a power zone. So that was the entry there. That one had virtually zero drawdown. So again, I took 2 contracts off at 80, took one off at 125, and then I exited on this lower high right here. So it was almost the same as the 125, a little higher. I think there's a little slippage in there. And the second one, we still had this rising confirmation line. Delta at this time, when we got this tick up from the green zone, the delta was relatively flat. So, you know, there wasn't a lot of seller stepping in. So I went ahead and took that long right there. And on this one, did we? Yes, I did get the 80. I got the 80, and then this. Wait, where was that? Let me undo. Yeah, right there. See the lower high tick down? That was my full exit right there. So I got the 80 first, and then that one. I think that 80 was in there. Yeah. Yeah, it got the 80, and then on the same candle, it ticked down. That's why that was confusing. Anyway, so then we had the news coming up. So I didn't want to enter right there because it was unemployment news. I knew that could get kind of crazy. So I kind of let it settle down a little bit. That's when I drew my broadening formations. And then we got this delta cross here as we were ticking up from that lower power zone. And typically when you got a delta that's falling like that, it's better to wait for a higher low, unless you got a super, super thin delta or a positive delta. So I took this higher low here, still had some drawdown. I wasn't going to pull it there, but we were so close. I was like, might as well just ride that one out. And sure enough, it popped back up. Took out that swing high in the process. Took 2 contracts off at 80. Took another off at 125. And then my full out was this tick down. Right there. So that one was 35.75. And then you guys saw my last trade. So that's where we're at. Good morning, Schroden. And for those of you that jumped on the stream late, I was saying earlier that I'm not feeling so hot. I had 2 kids home sick this week, and I think they finally got or gave me what they had. So I woke up with a sore throat this morning. I couldn't sleep, so I ended up getting up a little bit earlier. Started trading because I felt like that was easier to do than trying to sleep. And here we are. So I don't feel very good. I'm probably not going to have a very long stream today. Schroden, the thing I found to be more precise, to more precisely determine the Zeiierman Cumulative Delta with mouse over, is to change precision on the setting to 4. Are we going to take out that swing low now? It looks like we are. Yes, I think we are. Anyway, what setting are you talking about? Are you talking about the signal line? Or something else? At the bottom of Style tab in Setting. Bottom of Style tab. Precision. Oh. So you're changing this drop down here to a 4? Interesting. Let me see the default again. What is that actually changing? I don't see it here. Let me move this to the side. Let me change it to 0. Or do you have to hit OK to see it? Change it to 4 and hit OK. I still don't see any changes. Oh, you're talking about the scale? I see. So that's just the scale, right? Or no? Yes, I think it is. Okay, cool. Well, I learned something today. Thank you. I didn't even know that was an option in there. I was not aware of that. Well, what do you know? We took out that swing low. Broad information continues. Brian Gardner, good morning. You know, now that New York is open, I'm going to get kind of gun shy to start trading here. Pre-market is always, it just seems like it's so much smoother. The signals are, today was really good, but I'd say generally speaking, pre-market is pretty good. And then New York opens and it's a whole different animal. Sometimes I wonder if I should just trade pre-market and be done. Maybe I should start streaming earlier. But there's a problem trying to get my daughter on the bus and get her ready for school. So that's not really an option either. Good morning, Raphael. How are you today? Yeah, pre-market was good to me today. If you're just coming in late, here's the breakdown. Here's the dollar value after fees. And sure enough, so far we are chopping at that VWAP. Are you guys VWAP or VWAP? What camp are you in? I kind of switch back and forth. Sometimes I say VWAP. Depends on the day. Doesn't Cardi B have a song about VWAP? I think she does. If she doesn't, she should. We are chopping. As we'll go ahead and throw a little chop box on there. Totally expected this to chop, though. Always seems to do this when we open at VWAP. We didn't even look at the news today. Let's go ahead and look at news quick. Pending home sales at 9. And that's it for today. We had unemployment at 7:30 earlier. That's what this candle was. Oh, you guys can't see that. Tomorrow, core PCE price index at 7:30. Chicago PMI at 8:45. This is all Central Time. So not a whole lot going on today. Brian Gardner says watching NQ 21,560s to 21,400 as deep short repair targets with sparse volume areas run 21,400 to 21,480s. $21,560s. We got the daily open sitting down there. We also have this point of interest line left over from yesterday. I was playing around with some stuff yesterday. I did not trade yesterday afternoon with the FOMC news. I was playing around with some alerts and things, but here, let's go ahead and turn this one off. Huh. It's already off. Anyway. No, it just turned itself on. There we go. Anyway, yesterday, I ended the stream. I took my daughter back to school after she stayed home for the morning. But the ATR right here was crazy. So it was a little too scary for me after all my losses yesterday. So I go in replay mode. Let's see what that was. Yeah, it was over 100. And I think it just continued to go up from there. Yep, see 136, 140. That's crazy. So I ended up jumping on some phone calls. I ended up getting some work done. I did not trade FOMC after that. Oh, now we're getting a move up here. We just took out that swing high. Just took out previous day high. Those Delta candles look like they don't want to chop anymore. So maybe we do get some movement in here. Well, even though we were chopping, we did have this rising delta. And you guys all know that a tick up above a rising delta is usually not a bad entry, even if it's in the red. If it's in the red zone, you really want that delta to be positive and rising, which at that point, I mean, it was positive. It wasn't really all that thick, though. But that could have been a really good runner there. From that entry, it's up 90 points. The ML says 728 is a key level, and if we hold that, we target the gap from Sunday open. $728. We're right up there. On the daily, this is a short right here. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get this delta back above confirmation line on the daily. On the hourly, this is a long tick up above a rising delta, and confirmation line is rising. So that's a long right there on this candle. On the 15-minute, here's our first higher low from that lower power zone after the delta cross there. That's typically a decent long entry. A lot of chop in there first. But yeah, that delta is gaining strength. Here's the 5-minute. 5-minute, we had our delta cross, tick up from the green zone. So that's a long right here. On the 5. Three's kind of choppy looking, but this is a long, this is a long, and this is a long. Delta's above a rising confirmation line. So longs are definitely where it's at. Coming back down. ATR is getting relatively high, right at 86 right now. Off to work, Stealth. All right, well, thanks for stopping. We will catch you later. Remember, we got pending home sales at 9 a.m. That's in just over 4 minutes. Something just happened there. That was a fairly instantaneous candle down. Delta went from being really fat to almost nothing. A little bit of a delta squeeze setup there, but I don't know. With those delta candles that fat, it's hard to trust that for short. I would still probably wait for the long here. That's probably just because we got the news coming up. Well, we'll see. You guys always hear me say that the signals that happen right before news typically play out. We'll see if the, you know what, we'll simulate this one. So that is a short here. This lower high below that delta near the power zone. We'll simulate it. That's 125 ticks right there. It definitely would have got 80. Looks like it would have nailed 125. Back down to the session VWAP. So far, it's moved almost 50 points. News in 15 seconds. And here it comes. See, I don't know what it is, but it's always scary to take a trade right before news events, so I typically don't, but I see this all the time. The signal right before news usually ends up working out pretty good. And virtually zero drawdown on that too. So it's about 62 points and counting. We just closed under the VWAP there. Barely. Well, the news itself didn't really seem to do a whole lot there. Well, we did have this one candle. How big was that? Well, yeah, I guess we still had a 40-point candle in there. Whoa, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Still no tick up, so you'd still be in this. That is 95 points right there. Delta is getting fatter. Heading right back down to take out this swing low. And just got it. If you're targeting that swing low, that would have been 102 points. Still going. Why did I not take that trade, guys? I know, Schroden. I know. I just see that all the time. It's so funny because like if I take it and the news comes out, I tend to get run over. But if I don't take it, this is what I watch. All the time, it seems like. Anyway, it's still like it's comforting to know that the signals still work. If you go back and you back test this, you know, you're not saying, "Oh, I'm not going to take this trade because news is coming out the next candle." Like when I back test, I don't look at news at all. I just take the signals, and even with the news events in there, they tend to work pretty good. So I think I'm going to eventually start taking more of those just because of this. But yes, the voice of reason, Schroden, would say that is more conservative to just sit it out. That's probably the right thing to do. Was that a clear setup? Well, when we ticked down, the delta was nothing. So it was, you know, it did have somewhat of a negative slope to it. So yeah, it was a setup. And I was commenting at the time that it's hard to take that right when you had these really thick and fat delta candles. If it was more gradual like this one, I probably would have taken it. You know, like back here, the delta was, you know, you could see it kind of exhaust, but here there was like virtually no time for exhaustion. So yeah, you could argue that that wasn't very clear. Technically, it's still setup though. So what's it sitting at now? 136 points. Wow. That's a big move. Yeah, Schroden. I agree. That's exactly what spooked me away. That combined with news, I said, nope. I need to make a cheat sheet of the plays for quick reference. You know, the playbook, when I initially started writing the playbook, that's exactly what it was for me. It was my cheat sheet. And then as I added more and more, it eventually just kind of turned into a book. I never actually set out to write, you know, a book of that magnitude, I guess. It just kind of happened. So you could probably go in the playbook and take some of those screenshots and maybe consolidate it down into more of a cheat sheet. You could probably do that. Well, assuming that I took that trade, when you see this strong, aggressive move down, see how these delta candles are thicker than these over here? But when you see this aggressive move down, that's when I typically do not exit on this power zone tick up right here. I will hold it and I will wait for either a thin delta cross or a delta squeeze setup in the opposite direction. That's usually the best way to go there, or a higher low. A higher low, if the delta's tapering and it puts a higher low down there, I'll exit on that too. But the first one right here is usually too early, so I'll hold it longer. So we'll hold on to this one and we'll simulate it, and I'll show you guys where I would exit if I was in this trade. Keep in mind that we did take out this swing low, and we are on the yellow line for the Browning formation. So if the Browning formation wants to continue to play out, we could turn back up from here. It's hard to know if we're going to see expansion here to the downside or not. That's why we just have to watch the delta and see what it does. Also, a close above the 8 is probably the most conservative exit, or the second tick up. So this is the second tick up. It's not quite a higher low. It must have been like just a smidge under this one. That's why it didn't print a green triangle. But if it did, that's where I would have exited, was right there. So, and looking back, just going ahead and targeting that low would have been a little better of the Browning formation. But anyway, so yeah, that would be my exit right there. Would have been 93 3/4 points. Would have been nice. Was the 15-second perhaps a clear setup for that big move? Good question. Let's see. This is the 15-second. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. So we got our delta cross. We got our signal pull down to the lower half, up to the red zone, and tick down. That's our short right there. So on the 15-second, the close of this candle would have been your short, which is, it's a big candle though. And you guys know I don't like shorting or entering on big candles. So that would still be kind of tough for me. Because look at my stop wouldn't even cover the candle. However, if you're just following the cumulative delta, there's not much drawdown there, and that works pretty well. And so just going back to what I was saying before about my exits. Well, so here's a higher low here. So that could have been, you know, that this is the conservative exit. But if you want to leave a runner on there and wait for a thin delta cross or delta squeeze, you would have been, this is your delta squeeze setup right here. So you would have been out there, which is right here. So still would have got 105 points out of that one. Out of a runner at least. And then if that wasn't convincing enough, you would have exited on this one. That second higher low. Anyway, this is a short here. This lower high on a very weak delta from the upper power zone. So we'll see if we continue down. ML, I need to refine my risk and my entries. Look at that high of the 955 candle. 955. 855 my time, right? Look at the high of that candle. Was that the level you called? What was that level? I don't see it. Oh, next candle over. This one. 729. 728, 729. Yeah, I was right on. Why does this look all screwed up to me right now? On the 1 minute chart, this doesn't look how it looked earlier. What happened? Looks like the data's messed up. There's a gap in here now. See this gap? What happened? Is that just my chart? See, we don't have that delta squeeze here anymore that we had earlier. Or was I on a different chart earlier and didn't realize it? I'm going to refresh. Or reload the tab. So you guys have the same gap in your chart right there? Because on the 1 minute chart, I'm pretty certain the signal came down, ticked up, and then ticked down underneath the delta. I even pointed it out earlier. And I'm pretty sure I was on the 1 minute chart when I did that. It's like the data just got all screwed up. It changed. It wasn't the 15-second. I mean, this is what it looks like on the 15-second. Here's the 30-second. And the 30-second has a delta squeeze too, but we didn't look at that one. Yeah, I don't know. Something got screwed up there. In Quant Hour, it doesn't look like that. It's totally different, Quant Hour. Yeah, it's missing that delta squeeze setup right here. It's just gone. My internet dropped? I don't know. Good morning, Jason. Are you just jumping on? Looks like we're trying to get some expansion to the downside here, potentially. We're still sitting on top of the daily open, though. There is no good-looking short setup here. That could be a little bit of a fake out to the downside, too. We'll see. You got a little on the 15 open this morning? It's going well. It is going well. Pre-market was good to me today. Trading's going well. My body is on a different plane there. I'm not feeling all that well today. I think the kids got me sick. Woke up with a sore throat this morning. Couldn't sleep, so I got up, started trading. Good thing I did. It was good pre-market. But I think I'm going to end the stream a little earlier today. I got some other things I got to get done, and man, I'm tired. That delta is very thin. It is pointed to the downside. We could still get some expansion down. Starting to get more momentum in those delta candles there. Curious if the gap goes away for NQH25. Let's see. NQH. Looks fine there. Yeah, this is what it looked like on MNQ. So weird. Well, could just use the NQ chart. Should pretty much be the same thing. Well, I'll go back to the other one since all my chicken scratch is on there. Looks like we might be trying to bounce on that daily open here. Delta's starting to turn positive, so I don't think the bears have it in them. At least not yet. This might actually be a long here. I'm going to go for it on this Delta cross. All right, I'm long right there. Reason why I'm doing that is because we reacted off the daily open and we're back inside that broadening formation. The bulls had, or the bears had a chance to pull it down there and they couldn't do it. So if they can't do it, that's a good time for all the bears to get stopped out. There we go. There's 2 contracts off. See if we can hit a third here at 125. Move my stops to break even now. There we go. Push her up there. Won't be surprised if it comes down, tags me out, hits the 8, and then goes. Yep, now I'm out. All right, well, we got our 80 on it, so still a winner. And then, let's see here. So in those scenarios where I break even on 2 contracts, my points don't change, but I still increase this number by 2. So that's going to be a 7. And the reason why I do that is so that my fees down here are accurate. So then my overall P&L is closer to reality. There we go. Well, we still have a very weak delta. That's a short right there. this tick down from the red zone. Obviously, I did not take that because I was messing around with that stuff, but that's a short. I also don't like taking the big candles, but we'll see if we do get expansion now. Let's see what the higher time frames look like. I should probably flip these. So this is bearish now. This is bearish. And the 15 is bearish even. Kind of chopping that 8 though, so it could be kind of dangerous either way there. Be careful if you're trying to jump in something. You know, taking it right here at the 8 is not a bad idea. I went ahead and just jumped in a short there. And if we close above the 8, I'm going to pull it. But the reason why I did that is because we already got the short signal here. So getting it on the 8 is better. There we go. There's 2 contracts off. And almost the third here. There's the third. So now we just have the runner on there. So again, this is that goes to 12. This one goes to 4. And now we just got the runner. So all these deltas on the higher time frames, they're expanding now. You can see that the candles are getting thicker. So this could be a decent move here. Got previous week low all the way down here at 370. Jason, I'm working on ATM, creating ATM strategies based on 1 minute ATR2 TPs. Really like your TP strategy. You know, I am actually really liking this lately too. You know, the chop days that we've had recently, I've been having some trouble still. But as long as the price is moving, I think it works out pretty darn good. I just need to learn how to call it quits earlier when we start chopping. All right, I'm going to get a refill quick. I'll be right back. Okay, well, we did get a higher low on the signal. That is the most conservative take profit point. I think I'm gonna, there's options. So for my runner, if the delta is just more average looking, taking a tick up is probably the best exit strategy there. But if you're starting to get thickness into it, or if, yeah, see, now it's kind of running away from me a little bit here. If it was thicker, you're better off waiting for like a delta squeeze type scenario where you get the signal that ticks up above a rising delta. That's usually your best exit there. Or I can use the 8. So now that I've already missed that exit there, I'll use the 8 for now. If we close above the 8, I'll pull it. And I'm out. Cut out a little lower there. There we go. So my runner is 31 3/4. So now my calculator is one contract. What did I say that was? 34.75. So now it's 151.75 that goes up here. So this goes to 8. 151.75. There we go. But if I wasn't grabbing my coffee, I thought I would have a little bit more time on this one, but this higher low with the lower low in price, there's bullish divergence there, and the delta is not very thick there, so that's the best exit. So I should have been out right here at 525.75. So lost a little on that one, but it's all good. ML, now would be a good time to go rest. I'm suddenly starting to feel a little better now. But you're probably right. I think I'm gonna, if I ended it here, this would be a great day for me. So I think I'm just gonna relax a little. Unless I see something that's super tantalizing, then I might jump in. Zero losers so far today. Last Friday was a zero. Was it Friday? I think it was last Friday was a zero losing day too. Now, it's only a no-loss day if I stop trading right now. If I keep going, I'm bound to have a loser in there. Somebody in the Zeiierman Discord was asking if there's a way to set up a TradingView screener with the Cumulative Delta. And I have never actually tried to do that. Have any of you guys tried to do that? Do you know if it's possible? ML, that's some good advice. He says, go listen to a podcast, get some other stuff done, and rest up. That's my vote. I'm going to jump into some work now. Well, good. Thanks for stopping by. Take it easy. Hopefully we'll see you later. But yeah, back to the screener. Does anyone know if you can do that? He sent over some links on how to set up a screener using the alert condition from other indicators. That would be kind of cool. Somebody chimed in and said, indicator on indicator features are not supported in the TradingView screener. So apparently you can't do that. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Schroden, you can do it by setting up a F ton of TOMMYBOTS. That is true. You can do that. That's typically what I do. You got to have a lot of alert capabilities on your TradingView account. But you can do it. And you know, even if you were to, with this thing that he sent over, what's it say here? So you use this Pine screener, and in this Pine screener, shoot, I just did something I wasn't supposed to do. Here, let me copy this link. There, I almost messed up my P&L there. So copy link. Let me open this up in a new tab. Here we go. No, that's not what I wanted. Why does it want me to log into Discord? There we go. There we go. What are the main requirements and limitations of the Pine screener? It's only available with premium subscription. The indicator must output at least one plot or alert condition from the plot or alert condition functions. Only the plots of the selected indicator can be used as columns. So apparently you can use an alert condition. So even if you could get this to work on the cumulative delta, you can use an alert condition. But the question then becomes, well, what alert condition would you use? Because I mean, personally, I don't think I would really want to screen a bunch of stocks or crypto just based off of one of these. Like, I need a combination of these. So you could theoretically get a combo of those, I think, by using the any alert function and using all of these down here. So you could say, I don't know, whatever you wanted to use down there. But I'll be perfectly honest, I have not really played around with any of these, the any alert function. So I'm not sure if that's something that you could do there or not. I prefer to have more control over every little thing. So like I might want to see the delta cross, or like, is the delta above or below the confirmation line? So I have alerts for each one of those things. So with TOMMYBOTS, for me, it's easier. But it would be nice if you could set up some sort of screener and just see a list of stocks where you could, you know, where you have a negative slope on the confirmation line and a tick up from the upper power zone, for example. Like, that'd be a good short, or tick down from the upper power zone. Jason, gold is out of control. Pump big time. Really? Let's check out gold. Are we like turning over to a different contract or something? The data is just all spotty. We must be. What's the new contract? Anyway, yeah, gold's running. This tick up right here, right there, from the lower power zone, or not power zone, but the lower half. That's a long. So that's right here. These, if you're, if you look back, this delta's been in this upper power zone for an extended period of time, and then it gets back up in there. As long as it's remaining in that upper power zone, you can take all of these little tick ups. Those will work in a sustained uptrend. Got to identify the market condition first, though. And if you're using break evens, it's really easy to get stopped out of break even. But if you let it go, those can be profitable. I still prefer to take the ones from the lower power zone. It's just a little bit deeper of a pullback. Or lower half the indicator, I mean. April 25. MGC. Which letter is that? Oh, right here. J. All right, looks like I need to add that to my list. Thank you for that. Well, judging by this delta, you see how it's just really thin. There's not a whole lot of conviction either way here, to the upside or downside. We could end up chopping around a little bit here. If you could find a way to only enter the market when you're getting these nice consistent moves. Well, it's not very consistent here at the open, but pre-market was great. Even though Delta was a little thin, like these moves were good. Those moves were good for the most part. But if you could find a way to identify when price is moving and only trade those times, then when price starts to do this, that's when you need to walk away and say, okay, this is starting to get dangerous. I know me personally, I would be better off if I walked away in situations like this. So I've already had a great day. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it here and get some rest and maybe get some other work done this afternoon. And tomorrow will be another day. So thanks, guys, for stopping by and hanging out. Good luck to you. We will talk to you tomorrow, I think, unless I'm like deathly ill or something tomorrow. But I should be back tomorrow morning, 8:15 a.m. Central Time. So, all right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you.
Oh, wow, look at that move. It's like one of those big Delta candles. I mean, who even trades those tiny candles anymore? I like big fat candles, I can't deny. When the Delta's green and riding high, when a chart spikes thick with a bullish wick, I'm glued to my screen, that's the trick. I want a pound split, can't let it go. Big Delta bars, let that volume show. I'm zooming out, yeah, that's my groove. Catching waves in a Delta move. Want wanna trade slow? Nah, too tame. This market's got heat, I'm in the game. Delta skinny, not my taste. Fat candles on my happy place. Oh, traders, let me see that line. When the buyers push, I feel just fine. It's the fat move, no squeeze fake. I'm in this trend with no break. Got entries, stacking tall, no weak signals. I'm all in, y'all. Skinny candles just ain't for me. Big delta's my golden key. Sitting tight while volume pops. Green wave up won't make me stop. Short candles, nope, they're a bore. Give me fat deltas, I want more. Like those thick moves, yeah, yeah. Wanna break through, you know. Then hope and play, don't you fold. Big deltas fill the chart with might. Skinny moves don't make it right. Big fat candles, can't deny when the volume surges up so high. Skinny trades can take a seat. Big fat deltas are what I beat. Well, traders, let me see that life is good. I'm my happy delta skinny, not my taste. Fat candles on my happy place. Oh, traders, let me see that line. When the buyers push, I feel just fine. It's the fat move, no squeeze fake. I'm in this trend with no break. Got entries, stacking tall, no weak signals. I'm all in, y'all. Skinny candles just ain't for me. Big delta's my golden key. Big delta's my golden key. Sitting tight while volume pops. Green wave up won't make me stop. Short candles, nope, they're a bore. Give me fat deltas, I want more. Like those thick moves, yeah, yeah. Wanna break through, you know. Then hold and play, don't you fold. Big deltas fill the chart with might. Skinny moves don't make it right. Like those thick moves, yeah, yeah. Wanna break through, you know. Then hold and play, don't you fold. Big deltas fill the chart with might. Skinny moves don't make it right.